welcome to another session of Development of Science Teaching Materials, ESC 335. This is Unit 3, Session 3, where we look at improvised materials of some standard science equipment and challenges of improvisation. I am your course facilitator, Nihad Goni. In this session, we shall look at examples of improvised materials of some standard science equipment, as well as challenges of improvisation in general. By the end of this session, you should be able to state at least 5 standard equipment in science and their improvised items, and also explain at least one challenge of improvisation. Let's get started. In our last session, we looked at some principles to guide us for improvising material. In this session, we are going to look at some examples of improvised materials and their standard science equipment. Also, we look at the functions of both the standard science equipment and its improvised form. Our first science equipment here is the tripod stand. The tripod stand is normally used for supporting during heating. The improvised form is an unused stove frame. This figure or this material can also be used for supporting during heating in the lab. Our second equipment we want to look at is the Bunsen burner. The Bunsen burner serves as a source of heat in a chemical lab or a science lab. In its absence, we can use a kerosene stove to become a source of heat in the science laboratory. This becomes an improvised version of the Bunsen burner, and they all perform the same function. Another example we want to look at is the round bottom flask. The round bottom flask is another important science equipment. It is used for heating or boiling liquids. Due to the round nature of it, it helps for even distribution of heat. The improvised version of the round bottom flask could be an onion electric bulb, the bulb that produces light for us to use to see. We can use it as a round bottom flask for heating in the science lab. Now, let's look at other examples. Let's start with the funnel. Funnel is used for transferring liquids in the lab. The improvised version could be the open base of a plastic bottle. When you have an empty plastic bottle, you can cut it into two. The opening at the base can serve as a funnel for transferring liquids. Also, measuring cylinder, normally used for measuring liquid volume, can also be improvised. The improvised item could be a graduated feeding bottle of a child. Also, the test tube holder, which could be used for holding test tube during heating, can be replaced by a peg or a cloth hanger. This peg should, however, be wooden so that it is not affected by the heat transfer on the test tube. Also, the footer, which is used for collecting small insects, can have its improvised version by the use of a straw to collect these small insects. And finally, for putting chemicals into the test tube, a cut handle of a tablespoon can do the work instead of a spatula. There are a number of challenges that face improvisation. The first one is the financial factor or availability of funds. This is all about availability of funds for the purchase of raw materials and for handy, simple workshop tools. Though improvisations are expected to be made from cheap sources, they are basic tools and materials that require money in the school. Lack of such funds can frustrate the effort and interest of the science teacher. Also, the second challenge is the human factor. That's the teacher's professional commitment, competence, creativity, mechanical skill, initiative, and resourcefulness. We cannot downplay the importance of creativity when it comes to the improvisation process. Researchers and classroom experiences have, however, shown that many classroom teachers, even though being aware of the importance of improvisation, do not practice it. Some of the teachers exhibit negative attitudes towards improvisation and claim that it is time consuming. Also, sometimes the teacher's attitude towards securing equipment for the improvisation is discouraged because of factors in the school, and this affects the improvisation of science teaching materials. The third challenge we would like to discuss is the problem associated with instrumental error. That is, the low degree of accuracy and precision of materials that are used in the improvisation. Also, the inconsistency in the measurement and the personal errors of the equipment. The use of low cost, readily available materials for improvisation have their own limitations, which is termed as the instrumental error. Now, those limitations of the materials affecting the improvised material is a problem for its effective use. Let's try our hands on this question. 1. State 5 standard equipment in science and their improvised items. 2. Explain 2 challenges of improvisation. This is the end of this session. In this session, we looked at some examples of science equipment and their improvised form, as well as the difficulties that face improvisation of science teaching materials. However, I advise that even in the face of these challenges, let us, as science teachers, encourage ourselves to acquire the equipment, even if they are not available, using the improvisation process to help our students have a joyful learning experience. Thank you, and see you in our next session.